When are you fighting Tom?
I was waiting for it. When are you fighting Tom? Governor. The UNCI and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now Tom and I have agreed to.
To clarify, you said that Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes?
Jon agreed to fight Tom?
Is that what you just said there? Before, like on the last answer, you said
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
so. But he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit that was going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
Jon Jones has now agreed to face Tom Aspinall, responding to the overwhelming demand of more than 200,000 UFC supporters who backed a petition for the matchup. However, his acceptance didn't come quietly. Throughout the build-up, the reigning heavyweight champion faced heavy criticism, online backlash, and relentless trolling for initially turning down the fight.
I see quite a few people in here calling me a duck. I'm a duck. Call me a duck. Call me a chicken. Call me a goat. Call me a dog. I'm not in high school anymore, guys. A grown man out here chasing his dreams. It's funny that we really live in a world where being called a duck should affect me. Guys, come on.
Jones has expressed feeling deeply disrespected by how fans have reacted, especially considering everything he's accomplished in the sport. In response, he issued a bold warning, not just to the fans, but to Tom Aspinall as well, stating that he's preparing for a full training camp with the intent to solidify his legacy as the greatest of all time.
Position right now, and I would still be in the same place of I've beat people my whole career, and once I beat them, like the show just goes on. I get that Tom is an exciting fighter. I get that finally after 16 years we found somebody who's 7 years younger than me and 30 pounds bigger than me. Like, we finally found someone who may give me a great challenge, and everyone wants to see it so bad. But for me, it's like, what is it? What's in it for me? He changes nothing.
The reigning heavyweight champ took to his go-to platform, X, to break the news to the MMA world. He confirmed, "I'm in. I've agreed to the fight. There's no official date yet, but it will go down after I complete a full training camp." He added a warning: fans should expect violence, as he's aiming to end the GOAT debate once and for all.
Obviously, you know, this Jon Jones thing is what a lot of people are talking about. I wonder, is there anything that PFL or Francis could do to make that a realistic option for you guys, or are you fully focused on Aspinall?
Yeah, it's Aspinall's fight. I mean, we've been talking to this kid forever about it, and it's his fight.
This announcement came shortly after Jon Jones faced fresh waves of criticism, this time from one of his most well-known rivals, Daniel Cormier. It's even speculated that Cormier's comments may have influenced Jones's decision to accept the fight. As a respected voice in MMA media alongside Chael Sonnen, Cormier has been vocal about Jones allegedly dodging a showdown with interim champ Tom Aspinall. Their remarks didn't go unnoticed. Jones fired back on X, reminding them he's already defeated both of them in the octagon. He added a jab, suggesting they stick to podcasting and gossip while he earns more in a week than they do in a year.
Okay, so I feel like narratives have been created that just truly aren't there. You can't duck a man that you were never scheduled to fight. It's like saying you got turned down by a girl who you never even hit on. You know what I'm saying? It's like me and Dana and Hunter have never sat down and talked about Tom Aspinall. He's never been on my radar. I mean, just a moment ago, it was him and Sergey that was fighting, and Sergey could be in this position right now.
Now, Cormier isn't staying silent. He's clapping back.
Jon Jones just won't. He pressure. Just pressure, guys. He's on the pressure, and I don't even know what I did to him. Look, we did this a couple weeks ago, and I thought we were done with it. But finally, it seems as though it's reaching a little bit of a boiling point. Now, there's things from both sides, and we will get into that as the video goes on.
There's too much noise around this situation. People keep bringing up Francis Ngannou, Chael, and everything else, Cormier said on his YouTube channel. But everyone seems to be avoiding the obvious. The right thing to do is take the fight. And if Jon goes out there and beats this kid, which is not only possible but very likely, he gets the ultimate payoff, He gets to shut everyone up, just like he's done before, and say, "Told you so." For Jon, that kind of vindication is worth more than any belt. But he has to be willing to take that risk and actually step in there with the guy.
But first and foremost, a couple weeks ago, I said to Jon Jones, go fight Tom Aspinall, leave me alone. I thought it was good. Chael and I host a podcast. Chael and I are on The Ultimate Fighter together. Chael and I are tasked with talking about the biggest news in the sports of mixed martial arts. It seems as though Jon Jones does not like being talked about by two of the biggest voices in this game.
We never avoided anyone, Cormier emphasized. And I can say with full confidence, if I were still competing and held the heavyweight belt, and Tom Aspinall was the top contender, I'd have already faced him, no doubt about it. He explained that during his career, facing someone dangerous never scared him. It motivated him. The idea of standing across from someone who might beat him or knock him out only pushed him to train harder, smarter, and more intensely than ever. That kind of challenge fired me up, he said. What I'm seeing from Jon right now is troubling, and honestly, I don't understand it. I know him as a true fighter. I've seen it firsthand, so this behavior just doesn't add up.
Chael and I were discussing Jon Jones last week on our show, I think it was ESPN, and it prompted this. First off, it's very weird, all right, talking about yourself in the third person. It really is. But Jon tweeted this. Jon Jones whipped both of y'all. But hey, why not team up on a podcast and gossip about his life? Meanwhile, he's out here making your annual salary.
Cormier took issue with Jones flaunting his wealth and making light of the financial status of both him and Chael Sonnen. He revealed that he was actually approached to coach alongside Jones on a reality series, but the role eventually went to Nate Diaz, who later exited after a chaotic incident. Because of that behind-the-scenes experience, Cormier said he knows roughly how much Jones earned during his trip to Thailand for filming, which is why he questions Jones's claims about money. "I know what Jon was paid in Thailand," Cormier said. "I was offered that same coaching position. There's no doubt. Jon Jones has one of the most impressive resumes in MMA. His star power, ability to sell fights, and draw attention rivals anyone in the sport. Maybe just short of Conor McGregor."
A week. Stay busy, boys. That's what Jon Jones wrote. I'm gonna pull the curtain back for you guys. I know what Jon Jones made in Thailand. I was offered to coach this show with Jon Jones in Thailand. Jon Jones's resume is impeccable. Jon Jones's resume matches up, if not exceeds, everyone.
But here's the thing, Daniel, Cormier's resume stands up against anyone in the game. He draws attention just like the top names in the sport, and he has the ability to land major opportunities. In fact, he joked that even he started speaking in third person, like Jones. Cormier explained that when he was approached to coach a reality show opposite Jon Jones, given their intense history, the offer needed to be strong enough to actually catch his attention. Ultimately, Cormier turned it down, which is why he didn't go to Thailand. "If that paycheck was bigger than what I make in a week from my various roles, do you really think I'd say no?" he said. "Absolutely not. I would have taken it in a heartbeat. The truth is, Jon doesn't make more than me on a weekly basis. He only earns more when he fights."
Business. Jon Jones's star power, his ability to sell, matches up with anybody in the business. Jon Jones and his ability to bring eyes matches up with anybody in the business outside of Conor McGregor. But guess what? Daniel Cormier's resume matches up with anybody in the business. Daniel Cormier brings eyes like people in the business. Daniel Cormier can do and get just about whatever. And
like many fans, Cormier isn't accusing Jon Jones of being afraid. In fact, he acknowledges Jones as the light heavyweight GOAT and one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in MMA history, someone fully capable of beating Tom Aspinall. But he believes it's only fair that Jones gives the rising contender his shot to prove otherwise. "There comes a time when the new generation steps in and takes over," Cormier noted. "And if anyone understands that cycle, it's Jon Jones. Over the years, he's taken out both the veterans and the up-and-comers. His track record as a world champion speaks for itself. He's one of the greatest to ever do it." and he's faced and defeated the best.
You to coach this show opposite Jon Jones, knowing the history, they have to come with a nice offer that would pique my interest. Let's say I turn that down. If that money was more than I make in a year, in a week, with the jobs that I do, wouldn't I have jumped at that opportunity? Nothing would have stopped me from going to get that opportunity. Jon Jones don't make more money than me in a week.
Jones carved his path through the old guard, taking out legends like Vitor Belfort, Mauricio Shogun Rua, and Quinton Rampage Jackson, leaving them all behind as he ascended. Then came the newer names: Rashad Evans, Alexander Gustafsson, Daniel Cormier himself, followed by fresh contenders like Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, and Dominic Reyes. One after another, Jones handled them all. Cormier then shifted focus to Jones's move to heavyweight. He dominated Cyril Gane and now sets his sights on Stipe Miocic, another veteran. Throughout his career, Jones has consistently shut down every incoming wave of challengers. But as Cormier pointed out, there's always another wave coming. And no matter how many times you've done it before, eventually, the sport catches up. In this game, no one leaves untouched.
Jon Jones makes more money than me when he fights. And that's it. Outside of that, he ain't getting what me and Chael getting from ESPN, The Volume, DraftKings, Total Wireless, Rose Sparks, Monster Energy. I mean, we over here eating. So that's just false. That's false. It's almost like that time the Young Bucks, this wrestling team, said to me, "We're selling out arenas." I'm like, well, I did too.
Jones has managed to stay ahead of the curve far longer than most fighters ever could. But as Cormier pointed out, there's always another rising contender. And right now, that's Tom Aspinall. If you're the best, you prove it by taking on the next big threat, Cormier said. Tom has earned the chance to face the greatest. Meanwhile, former UFC Women's Bantamweight champion Miesha Tate shared a more direct view. Speaking to Esports Insider, she said, "Honestly, it feels like Jon Jones is avoiding Tom Aspinall. He's a smart fighter and a technical mastermind. He knows when someone poses a real challenge, and I believe he's not fully confident he has the tools to take Tom down."
Well, I definitely believe the fight will happen this year. Seems like Jones is up for it. Seems like the UFC want it to happen. I mean, they said to Tom Aspinall, it's a done deal, it's going to happen. And it would just be such a shame if that fight didn't happen. I think it's going to happen International Fight Week, Las Vegas 2025. But what do I know? I'm not basing that on any inside information. Excuse me. I'm not basing that on any inside information. I know what you know. When Joe Rogan said apparently he wants 30 million, good for him.
Tate admitted she hasn't been following the Jones versus Aspinall situation in detail, but based on what she has seen, she's puzzled by Jones's hesitation. "I'll be honest, I haven't been tracking every update, but I saw Jon Jones in an interview complaining that Tom Aspinall was talking trash," Tate said. "I think Ariel Helwani was covering it, and I remember thinking, what did Tom even say? He doesn't even use foul language." According to Tate, Aspinall has mostly just called Jones out or claimed he's avoiding the fight. "Unless there's something I've missed, it sounds like Tom's been pretty respectful," she added. "And honestly, even if someone was being disrespectful, that still shouldn't be a reason not to fight them."
I hope he gets paid that money. I hope he does, and I hope we get to see the fight. And if it isn't 30 million, maybe it's around that. Maybe it's 20 million, 25, maybe it's more, like you say. I think the demand for this fight will be there. I think it's incredible that in this day and age, we're talking about these kind of fight purses being involved in mixed martial arts. I said this in my video. When I started MMA, I'm talking pre-UFC, when I first started like regional level MMA, everybody said, if you're getting into this sport for money, you're in the wrong sport. And I was like, holy.
Tate emphasized that it's a champion's responsibility to step up and prove they're the best in the world. If they're no longer interested in doing that, she says, that's fine. But the division can't stay frozen. Whether Tom's been respectful or not shouldn't matter, she explained. As champion, your role is to show you're number one. And if you've moved up to heavyweight, then that's what you need to do, Tate continued. I really don't understand all this back and forth. Right now, Tom Aspinall is the guy to beat, so if Jon wants to fight, he should show up. And if not, if he's done, that's okay too. Just say so and move on.
Is the only reason why I'm getting involved in this sport. And of course, you know, I did pretty well. And now we're seeing people, obviously Conor McGregor's done fantastic. Lots of people in the UFC have become millionaires through the sport. And now we're seeing, you know, people like Jon Jones getting what was only regarded or what was only seen possible in like the high level superstar boxers, those kind of paydays. Now Jon Jones is getting that, and other people will be down the line as well. I think it's a great sign of the growth of the sport.
Matt Brown has pointed out that Tom Aspinall's wait for Jon Jones isn't the same situation as the drawn-out saga between Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor. Still, it's clear that Jones hasn't shown much interest in meeting Aspinall in the octagon. Despite the lack of enthusiasm, not everyone believes it stems from fear. Fellow heavyweight contender Curtis Blaydes acknowledged Jones's incredible legacy in the sport and made it clear that, in his view, hesitation doesn't equal fear. Jon has done some amazing things in MMA, Blaydes said. So I'm not going to sit here and say he's scared of Tom Aspinall.
Get Aspinall's frustration, I really truly do. Like, I feel for the guy. But when you're in this situation where you're playing the Jon Jones sweepstakes, you're not the A side.
Yeah, and I look at that just like the Chandler situation with Conor. I mean, just go fight, bro. Like, you know, keep your name out there, keep showing that you are the man to fight him, just keep building your legacy, and keep showing the world, you know, keep your name out in the news, keep showing the world that you're the guy.
During a conversation with Inside Fighting, Curtis Blaydes made it clear he doesn't believe fear is what's keeping Jon Jones from facing Tom Aspinall. I'm not going to disrespect him and say he's scared, Blaydes said. That's not it. He's not afraid. When asked if Jones might be avoiding Aspinall due to a risk versus reward calculation, Blaydes agreed. Yeah, that's what it comes down to, he responded. If he's being real with himself, he hasn't fought a top heavyweight in their prime. Cyril Gane had clear issues with grappling, and Stipe Miocic was older and hadn't competed in a while. Blaydes went on to say that if Jones took on Aspinall and won, it would settle the debate. We'd all have to say, yeah, he's truly the GOAT. He earned that heavyweight crown. Even if he lost, people would understand. He's aging, not a natural heavyweight. It wouldn't take away from his legacy.
To be fighting him. And if it's true, then, you know, your case is going to get stronger and stronger. If you're sitting on the sidelines, it doesn't really help your case as much, I think. You know, I just come from a different school. Maybe it's an old school thing. Maybe it's just me personally. And I'm like, I feel like when I was fighting, or what I would suggest for others to do is, you know, go in and fight as much as you can, fight the best guys you can, and then see how things work out. And that's not all.
Jon Jones recently opened up about why he isn't interested in fighting the current interim champion, instead turning his focus to a potential clash with Francis Ngannou. His comments came shortly after a fan petition demanding the UFC strip him of his heavyweight title surpassed 193,000 signatures. Javier Mendez, the founder of American Kickboxing Academy and the coach behind champions like Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and Daniel Cormier, believes he understands the UFC's hesitation to strip Jones. Speaking on his podcast, Mendez explained, "Eventually, the UFC will lay it out clearly. Either fight or vacate the title. They'll take action when the time is right. But for now, as long as they believe progress is being made toward booking Jones versus Aspinall, they'll keep holding out."
But, you know, there was a back and forth. They got him that money. They finally got him that money. And he said yes. And then he said no. And since he said no, they've been trying to figure out a way to get him to do this fight. One last fight. He ain't budging. And he's been starting to give us some sort of indication, hints, that he is not interested. But right before 316, he gave us many indications. And when I say not interested, I don't mean...
According to Javier Mendez, the UFC is unlikely to strip Jon Jones of his title because doing so would mean losing a massive promotional opportunity. If they strip him now, that potential blockbuster fight disappears, Mendez explained. But if they keep dragging it out, and the media keeps fueling it, the hype just continues to grow. Honestly, it's a smart move from both sides. UFC CEO Dana White's comments after UFC 316 seem to align with Mendez's perspective. Despite the viral petition calling for Jones to be stripped, White made it clear he's not swayed. "Yeah, I saw it," White said when asked about the fan. campaign. Every person on Earth was DMing it to me. He brushed it off by noting the scale. We've got something like 400 million fans around the world, and 130,000 want him stripped? That's kind of ridiculous.
Before, like on the last answer, you said
Jon agreed to fight Tom, yes.
so. But he hasn't signed a contract or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
I mean, you guys have heard me for the last however long. I said, I guarantee you this fight's going to happen. This fight's going to happen. Fight's going to happen. You guys told me the crazy shit going on Instagram and all these other places. But yes, I've been saying Jon is going to fight Tom.
So there are some rumors out there that you guys had offered him.
UFC President Dana White confirmed that Jon Jones has agreed to fight interim heavyweight title holder Tom Aspinall. Speaking at the UFC 316 post-fight press conference, White appeared surprised when questioned about Jones's recent social media remarks, suggesting he was ready to vacate the belt. He said he's ready to give up the title? That's wild, White responded. I've been tied up with everything going on and haven't kept up with all the talk online. White added that Jones had just returned, or was returning soon, from Thailand, and said, he'll be back tonight, or was already back yesterday. We'll sit down Tuesday and start sorting things out.
Yes, you hear it come from here, or we put out a press release. Don't believe any of this. It's like the Turkey stuff, you know what I mean? And everybody's saying, I know Turkey said some stuff, but unless we come out and say something, it's all, just don't get sucked into that stuff anymore. I don't even care. I don't even listen to it. And most of the time that I hear that happens, I hear from you guys when I come to things like this. Otherwise, I don't care and I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. But yes, Jon agreed to fight Tom. Fact.
Tom Aspinall is clearly the guy right now, said Dana White. If Jon Jones wants to walk away and retire, there's not much anyone can do about it, he continued. I didn't want Khabib Nurmagomedov to retire either, and I thought Daniel Cormier still had more to offer. But in the end, it's their decision. I'll do everything I can to make the fight happen, but if Jones is really talking about giving it up, that's news to me. And that wraps things up for now. For the latest news, key moments, fight announcements, and all things combat sports, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay tuned and stay sharp.